And I'm about to start. So welcome to the online edition of Cinema for the Culture, produced by the African Film and Arts Foundation. My name is Mojisola Shonoiki, and I'm the founder of the African Film and Arts Foundation. For our September screenings, we are celebrating and showcasing films from Francophone African and Caribbean countries in partnership with Alliance Française of Atlanta. Today, we're pleased to have with us the cast and crew of the film Elza. We have with us director Mariette Monpierre and also the lead actress Stana Roumillac.
Hello.
Oh, you're saying hello. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Bonjour.
Our special guest today is Dr. Richard Keatley, Executive Director of Alliance Française Atlanta, who will be moderating the session. Dr. Keatley has a PhD in French literature from Yale University, and whilst primarily a scholar of the French and Italian Renaissance, he also studied African diaspora literature with the eminent scholar Chris Miller while at Yale. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
African Film and Arts Foundation is a 501c3 non-profit media arts organization. Our mission is to create a platform to promote, showcase, and support content that depicts Africa and its diaspora family in all its brilliance. We aim to be at the center of networking between African and American content creators, buyers, and distribution platforms. One of our main goals is also to engage the younger generation of continental and diaspora Africans in discussions around film production and content creation, as they are future storytellers. With that being said, we have one of our interns here, Olivia Abbey, helping us behind the scenes, and she'll be assisting in translating any questions we have in French to English. Say hi, Olivia. So I'll hand you over to Richard, who will give us a brief intro about Alliance Française.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for participating in this event that will bring attention to African and Francophone African films in the city of Atlanta. The Alliance Française mission is to promote French language and the understanding of French-speaking cultures. So that's why we partnered with the African Film and Arts Foundation. And this is the second of the 2 online screenings we're having. We were planning on having in-person screenings with people coming to Atlanta and whatnot, but right now, this is the world we live in. So thank you so much for zooming in with us, and thanks for what you do. I watched the film, of course, and would just like to ask how you came up with this project. What does it mean to you, Mariette?
Hold on one second. Sorry for interrupting you there, Richard. We have to show the trailer first.
Okay, so you have to show the trailer so people know.
So yes.
Ask people about the.
Yeah. So sorry for interrupting. Okay. Mariette, you've gone off camera.
Oh. Am I here?
Yes,
okay.
You're back now. Yeah, sorry for interrupting, Richard. So what we tend to do, just because, we're trying different things in this online sphere. So people that haven't watched the film or don't know much about the film, we give them a taste by showing the trailer.
Okay.
Yes. So the trailer is about a minute. So I'm going to share my screen and show the trailer. Just bear with me 1 second. So I'm sharing my screen now. And there you have it. You see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, here it goes.
À la première diplômée de la famille. Merci, maman. Elza, je suis fière de toi. Tu vas faire quoi avec tout ce pognon? Je vais m'acheter un billet d'avion. Retourner là-bas, c'est hors de question. Personne. Vous êtes la babysitter envoyée par l'agence? Oui.
Mon conseil est donné, reste pas trop longtemps.
That was brilliant. So I hope our audience enjoyed that. Now, Richard, you can go ahead. So I'm going to come off camera. So is Olivia, so that we can deal with what's going on behind the scenes. And then towards the end, I'll be back with my contribution. So I'll see you guys in a minute.
Okay, see you in a minute.
Okay.
Yes, I noticed a number of themes that are important in Caribbean, in African literature, in all literature. Mainly the themes of race, of sort of racial identity in mixed families, of the use of sex. There's a lot of, you know, ambiguous sexual relations in the film. And of course the whole question of gender and the place of the woman in this society. And I was just wondering what inspired you to make this specific film? What does it mean to you? How personal is it?
Well, that's a lot of questions in one. But let me start by saying that this is a semi-autobiographical film. It is based on my own experience. I've never met my father. And when I was about 18 years old, I was missing him so much. I wanted to see his eyes. I wanted to feel his touch and know, discover what was this half of myself that I had left in the Caribbean, because I was born in Guadeloupe and I grew up in Paris. When I was 6 years old, my mom took us, my two sisters and I, to Paris, as like many West Indian families do. So after growing up in Paris, in le 2e arrondissement in Les Halles, I was very nostalgic of my island, and I really needed to know who I was and who was that half that I had left behind. So I decided to go back to Guadeloupe and look for the father that I had never met. So it was a way for me to search for my identity, to connect with my people and my culture, because I was living in a very Parisian life, as wonderful as it was, but I was missing my roots. So I wanted to discover who I was, and making this film was therapy, kind of, because I learned a lot about myself as I was writing and making the film.
And Stana, was this is this personal for you in any way? Did you identify with the character and with the story? What attracted you to this story?
Yes, of course, I relate to this character. But making the movie was very special for me, because at the beginning I was chosen for the mistress part. So we shot all my parts as a mistress. Mariette, I don't know if you remember.
Yes, very well.
So just the day before, I was chosen to play the character Elza. So I haven't that time to think about the part and the character. So, but for me, I have some issues with my father too, so I can relate with Elza.
Are you from Guadeloupe as well?
No, I'm not from Guadeloupe. I'm from French Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
But
actually,
this is kind of the same story.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, the story about the missing father, the absentee father, is a story, is a narrative that is very that is shared by all post-slavery society. Like in America, in the US, just like in the Caribbean where there was slavery, there's a mentality, there's a situation where men are often absent of the family, and it's the mother, it's a matriarchal a structure where the mother takes care of everything and the father is absent. And you know, it's not me. I mean, the historians have spoken about that, and what happened during slavery was key, because a child, when a child was born, a child belonged to the master of the mother and not the master of the father. And there was the politics of the division of the family, you know, breaking the families. So the man would take care of the kids, and the father often was sold to another master's, another plantation, sometimes to a different island. And there the man would start another family, have kids, be with another woman. And that's kind of started the attitude of what I called butterfly. Men's, you know, are like butterfly. They hop around from one home to the next. Of course, this is changing because society is different. And but slavery was abolished not that long ago, about 150 to 175 years ago, in different, depending on what part of the world you're looking at. So it's going to take time for this situation to change. So my film tackles a situation where shows the what you would call it, the consequence of that. Even though I don't talk about slavery in the film, but the situation that you see is the consequence of, you know, of 200-300 years of slavery.
Yeah, that's
heavy.
And you sort of blew me away with this revelation that you had been cast as the lover.
Yes.
And you talked before about the genders and the issues of that. So the beginning of the movie as an actress was in there.
Yeah, because you know, when she came, she was the mistress, and we shot all her scenes. And then there was a crisis, and I had to let go my lead character, my lead actress. And it was a disaster because we were all very, it was a panic. We were all in a panic because, we were ready to fold our chairs and tables, and me going back to the US, and Stana back to Paris, you know, production, and shutting the production off. When my producer, Mama Keita, said, listen, look at her. I've been telling you for several months, if not several years, that she's your Elza. And I'm like, no, I don't see Elza like that. You know, I don't think she is. And she had done a casting, right? Maybe you can tell the story. You did a casting a couple years prior.
Yeah, it was my first steps in Paris, because I come from French Guiana too. And maybe it was my first year of acting school. I met Mariette. It was my first casting. And I think, I don't know what happening, but you know, you made some casting, and after I haven't news from you, like maybe 3 years or 4 years, something like that.
Yeah, I cast that 1 year, and then 3 years later we got to make the film. It was a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And 3 years later, you call me with Mama Keita, and you say, I have maybe a part for you, but it's a mistress, something like that. We made a reading on camera. I was in Paris and you were in Guadeloupe, and that's it. I took a flight and I was in Guadeloupe, and I shoot the movie as a mistress. And the story happened, what you say.
Well, and then magic happened, because the cast, when she did the casting the first time years prior, I didn't think that she was any special. I didn't think that she embodied the part. But then when I saw her again years after that, she had become more accomplished actress, and I felt like she really embodied the part of Elza. She gave the part maturity, sensuality, and a youthful attitude, and a deep and she had a very moving performance. So I was very, very happy. All that to tell you that you never know. Movie making is magic. One day it changes.
Do you think that her changing of roles contributed to the ambiguity of her character in a way that it wouldn't have had she been in the same?
I think so because
maybe.
A lot of things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe because as a mistress, I was a lot with my father, but as a friend, like we talked before we shoot the movie as Elza. So during 1 week, so I had that chance. So I create something with him, and maybe, I think.
The lover that you take the picture of when Elsa first comes to Guadeloupe, that person up there that looks very much like you, that was not you, or that was someone else? That was another actress? Do you remember the scene I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, it's the scene in the car, in the Jaguar.
No, she gets off into Guadeloupe and she starts taking pictures of just random things. And one to father who's with a lover.
Oh, no, it was my father.
Yes, it was your father. And who was the lover? Who played the lover? Because her hair was pulled back like yours was, and it added to the ambiguity because there's this.
You think it could have been she looked like her? No.
And
but
such a range of ages. The girls are very sexualized in this movie, and so
really?
I think so. And so Elsa, I think, is both a figure of innocence and a sort of temptress among the men there. No, all the men are chasing her, and it's not clear whether her father is chasing her or something else. No.
Is that a question?
It is.
Yes. Yes, it's a question.
Well, you feel like the women I've sexualized. I feel the women are very beautiful, like, true to reality, because we are very beautiful. We are very beautiful people.
Answer.
But when you live in the Caribbean, there's this sense of I don't know, maybe it's a bit like in Brazil, but you have this sense of nature, spontaneity, and maybe because
like freedom, something.
Freedom, I mean, openness. I think it's that sense of openness, and we're welcoming, what's there, and maybe that aspect gives it a sense of sensuality. Also, I have to say that it was very important for me all throughout the film that Elza has, that the audience through Elza's touch and smell could smell the Caribbean, could touch the Caribbean. Everything is very, everything goes through your senses in the film. When she lays in the pool and she feels the water. When she arrives when she gets off the plane and she goes to the beach, she sees the water and she goes and jump into the water, because these are emotions, feelings that come over her, and she gives herself, to those feelings. And when you go to Guadeloupe, you feel, if you go, you'll feel like that. It's in the air.
Yes. How do you capture that technically, from a technical standpoint, as a filmmaker, and as an actress? How do you try to, you mentioned you feel that, you smell that, you mentioned all of the senses that are not there in cinema. So how do you go about conveying that? You
answer or answer? Okay.
Both.
I answer. I think it all has to do with being able to capture subtleties, you know, touch, hands, eyes, looking. It's all about making, giving attention to all those details that you don't really pay attention to, you know, in life. So, you know, taking a moment to smell, taking a moment to touch, taking a moment to stop on the road and buy a piece of chicken, you know, a grilled chicken, and eat it. Yeah, you know, and also in the movie, the smell, you know, she smells the her father's shirt, because she remembers the smell of her father that she only met, you know, maybe one time when she was a little girl. So she remembers that smell. So it's all about, it's capturing all those subtleties, all the details. It's all in the details.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel it because if you read the article, the review in the New York Times, because my film was the New York Times critics pick, the writer, the critic mentioned that it's, you know, all she felt all the smell that lingers, and all the touches, the senses, she said, was very revived during the film. Read. I invite everybody to read, you know, the article from the New York Times. Okay. You just type Elza the movie, New York Times critics pick, and you'll see the beautiful article they wrote when my movie was released at the theater in New York City in 2012.
No, I could feel a sense of nostalgia in the movie, you know, of her there and having feeling of being what, as you said, as you describe your life, as being someone whose roots are there, but who is an outsider nonetheless, and feel these things even more. And that comes across very well in the film. So good.
Yeah, because actually I shot Guadeloupe like through the eye of through a very nostalgic eye, through the eyes of somebody that misses the country, and a little bit like a tourist, you know. I'm sure if I was living in Guadeloupe, I would have never shot Guadeloupe like this. Guadeloupe for me in the movie is a woman with a strong personality, a very sensual woman. Guadeloupe is a real character in the film. And it's not just like a postcard, you know, beautiful shots of the island, but I try to shoot the island through in action, you know, and blend this with the action of each character.
How did you get the funds to do this movie?
Oh my God!
Talk about for you.
You know,
as I say, it's 3 years before we met again, so it's a long story.
Yeah, actually, it took more than 3 years. I think it took 5, and then it took another 1.5 years after I shot it to finish the editing. So it was quite of it was a roller coaster, and I was able to get funding from the CNC, the CNC, which is the cinema, the National Cinema Center in France. So it's a government agency that disperses funding, and it's very selective. It's very hard to get, but I was able to get some money from there. I received money from the region of Guadeloupe, which has which I have to thank very much. They are very dynamic in helping local filmmakers to carry out, you know, cinema projects. I received money from the Ministry of Ultramar.
Being someone whose roots are there, but who is an outsider nonetheless, and feel these things even more. And that comes across very well in the film. So good.
Yeah, because actually I shot Guadeloupe like through the eye of through a very nostalgic eye, through the eyes of somebody that misses the country, and a little bit like a tourist, you know. I'm sure if I was living in Guadeloupe, I would have never shot Guadeloupe like this. Guadeloupe for me in the movie is a woman with a strong personality, a very sensual woman. Guadeloupe is a real character in the film. And it's not just like a postcard, you know, beautiful shots of the island, but I try to shoot the island through in action, you know, and blend this with the action of each character.
How did you come about get the funds to do this movie?
Oh my God!
Talk about
for you.
You know,
as I say, started 3 years before we met again, so it's a long story.
Yeah, actually, it took more than 3 years. I think it took 5, and then it took another 1.5 years after I shot it to finish the editing. So it was quite of it was a roller coaster, and I was able to get funding from the CNC, the CNC, which is the cinema, the National Cinema Center in France. So it's a government agency that disperses funding, and it's very selective. It's very hard to get, but I was able to get some money from there. I received money from the region of Guadeloupe, which has which I have to thank very much. They are very dynamic in helping local filmmakers to carry out, you know, cinema projects. I received money from the Ministry of Ultramar. I'm receiving so many messages saying that they're not able to connect with the program. You know, all my friends are texting me left and right. You know, they reserve, they have their ticket, but they cannot get on board. So I don't know if Emoji, there's anything you can do, but none of my friends can watch us because I don't know, there's a problem. Maybe Emoji, you can let me know what to tell them so they can get they can see the program. They have a reservation.
Yeah, that link I sent you, the last one I sent you yesterday, you can send that to them. We'll take them direct.
The link on Zoom for us, you know.
But we're in there because I see it on my other computer. Yeah.
The link that you share with.
It's also recorded, so if they don't get to watch it now, they can watch the recording. And that's all I can suggest for now. If they can't.
No, that's too bad because I did a lot of promotion and none of my friends can get on. Okay, well, never mind. Sorry.
Send them your link. You can do that.
What link?
The link that used to be there.
Oh, you mean the Zoom link?
Yeah.
No, not the Zoom link.
Okay.
I will send it to you again.
My bad, sorry. It's okay, I didn't. Okay.
That's what I sent them, and they got the ticket, and they're not able to get on.
I will send you another link. I will send it to you now.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
I'll send it to both of you.
I have a question for Stana. I noticed you have a picture of Al Pacino as.
Yes. Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you repeat? Because my phone was off. I don't know what you said. Can you repeat?
Yes, I was saying it looks like Al Pacino behind you, and is that Marlon Brando on the desk as the Godfather?
Yes, this is the Godfather, Al Pacino.
Is your aspiration to be in a gangster film someday?
Oh yeah, I would love that. But Al Pacino as an actor is just amazing. So yeah, it's an inspiration, but have more. Daniel Day-Lewis, Denzel Washington, a lot of.
What do you think about? You're both from the Caribbean. What does Caribbean cinema have to say to the rest of the world, and where is it moving?
Oh my God!
Years.
This is a big question, you know.
Where Caribbean cinema is moving.
Yeah, this is a lot of story.
Well, first of all, yeah. Go ahead, Stana.
Oh, sorry, go.
Well, Caribbean cinema, you know, it's a huge word because we are a lot of Caribbean islands. You know, there's a British Caribbean, French Caribbean, Caribbean from Dutch Caribbean and Spanish Caribbean, and we're all very divided. We're very divided because instead of connecting with one another, each of us are really more geared towards what I call the motherland. And so the French West Indies, it's with France, you know, the Jamaica and Trinidad is with England, etc., etc. And this is because of history, of what's called colonialism. So we've tried hard to create a Caribbean state of culture, a Caribbean, but so far, I have to say that we haven't been really so successful, but we are making strides. We are moving ahead a little bit. For instance, I know in Guadeloupe, we invite a lot of people from Trinidad and Tobago, because there's a big cinema in Trinidad and Tobago, a big film festival. So we have some exchanges with them, but all this is very limited. And I think there's first the language barrier. Mm-hmm. And also we are a little bit, we are very narrow-minded. We only go towards what we know. So we know France, but I'm not like that. I have been working with people from Trinidad and Tobago, working with people in Puerto Rico, in St. Lucia, but we haven't been able to put together a strong network. So I would suggest for everybody who is listening and who is willing and who are from the Caribbean, or maybe people from outside of Caribbean, to create a group, a virtual group, on Facebook. So just at the moment, to connect and to know each other. I know because of the confinement, I was really able to meet so many people outside of America, outside of France, outside of the Caribbean, because now with Zoom, anybody can connect. I don't know, maybe tonight there's somebody from South Africa, or from Nigeria, in Nigeria, watching us. And that's that is the beauty of digital information, of Zoom and things like that, because we can connect and meet each other. So let's start, a Facebook page with all the Caribbean filmmakers, because I feel very isolated, and I would love to connect with you guys who are out there.
Is there any kind of film festival or association of just Caribbean filmmaking or not? No? Wow, that's fascinating.
Not that I know of. I think everybody has their own association. In Trinidad and Tobago, they have their Trinidad Film Festival, and we have our thing, and we don't really connect, and that's really very difficult. Too bad. Also, it's very difficult and expensive to travel within the Caribbean. If you're in Guadeloupe and you want to go to the Cuba, it's very expensive, and you might not have direct flight. You have to go island hopping, and by the end of the day, you're broke.
Oh, these economic connections still link you back to Paris more easily.
Yes.
Island,
yes.
50 miles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to go back to Paris or London in order to come back to another section of the Caribbean. It's crazy.
Stana, what was your most memorable moment in making this movie?
Maybe the switch of the mistress as an Elza. Maybe this is the big part, because it was my first role as an actress, and the first of the movie. So, and this is my first. So I will never forget that, So maybe I can say that. Maybe the call of Mariette when she said to me, "Okay, I start over the movie as Elza." So the day before at 7 a.m., we were shooting the movie at the beginning. The day after, sorry.
Yeah, because we didn't have much time to waste. We had already wasted like a whole week of shooting, and we had to start all over again. So she really had to jump in the heat of things one day to the next. And with no preparation, but she's an actress, so she was able to really concentrate and give all she had to give. Everything was coming from the guts, the heart. And she was really great. And I thank you very much for your extraordinary performance, because it must not have been very easy.
With you.
With me too.
What's coming up next for
You have a
both?
strong character,
Thank God I'm a director. I have
More-
to have a
more
strong
than that.
character.
Again.
Do you have future projects coming up? What are you working on right now?
Mariette or me?
And both.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, and then we'll pass it.
Actually, I'm working in France, so I'm in the TV as a regular part. The title in English is Chronicle of the Sun, Un si grand soleil in French. So this is a daily show. So
It's a major show. It's a major show.
Yeah,
on
it's a major show in France.
France 2.
Is it a,
Yes, exactly.
France 2.
Yes.
is it a soap opera?
Not really a soap opera, but something between.
It's not a soap opera. It's more like a dramedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because soap opera is back from the 80s, or I don't know. Do they still make soap opera in America?
Yeah, I guess that's what
They
they
It's a
don't
new
call it
show,
soap
it's
operas.
a new show.
But
They
there's,
call, no, but it's better than that.
Thank you.
So she has a
It's a new
recurring
show.
part.
It's a baby show, just 1 year, 1 year old. So
But it's a daily show, prime time. You got to sell your thing. It's prime time.
yeah, it's a prime time in France, the television after at 8:40 p.m. every day,
So the
Monday
whole
to
country.
Friday.
that's
Yeah.
available on TV5 Monde. Par chance.
No, it's France 2.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yes.
In the United States, we have TV5 Monde, which sort of
Oui.
takes things from
Oh,
channels.
Oh yeah.
okay.
And so I don't know.
Maybe on internet, something.
Okay.
I don't think you can
On the
watch it in
replay.
America.
Repeat the name in French again.
Un si grand soleil.
Huh?
And the title in English is Chronicle of the Sun.
Chronicle of the Sun.
Un si grand soleil.
And it's
And also I create something during the confinement. It's a web series. The title is We Are at War. You can see it on YouTube if you write the title. It's like 6 episodes, around 5 minutes. I'd create with a friend, just 2 of us, during this special moment. And we just won our first prize in Roma last week. So you can, I invite all the people to see. It's free, it's on
Yes.
YouTube.
Yeah, it was amazing. Because during the confinement, she just created this show with a friend. So pretty good.
Nice.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Very nice.
congratulations. And Mariette, what are you up to?
Okay, so during confinement, I wrote a few scripts now. During confinement, I chilled, and we discovered what it was to be at peace, to do yoga, meditate. I was watching, the sunset every day and walking on the beach in Guadeloupe. And seriously, I am working on my TV series called Caribbean Girl NYC. It's the story of 3 Caribbean girl and 1 African girl meeting in New York and like we said in French, qui font les 400 coups, having a ball and discovering life, making one mistake at a time. They're all from daughters. They're all daughters of immigrants. Their parents stayed back home in Guadeloupe and Senegal, Barbados, and Haiti, and they're meeting in New York. they're meeting in New York, and they're learning life, and they're having a ball, and they're learning life, and it's just like fantastic, because I think being Caribbean, but first of all, Caribbean is the #1 diaspora in the fastest growing population in New York. And the Caribbean population is really a population that makes the fabric of New York. And without the Caribbean population, New York wouldn't be such a special place. And many of us are Caribbean in New York, many celebrities, but people just don't know that they are Caribbean, because we blend into the life of the city. And it's a population that you have to reckon with. And I can give you a whole list of Caribbean people in New York. It's just celebrities. It's just amazing. So those 4 girls, they learn life, and I shot the pilot, the first episode, which aired on TV a couple of weeks ago, and we were about to shoot, the season 1 when COVID hit, so we were not able to continue, and we're going to be shooting at the end of next year in 2021.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm working on that, and then I'm working on the writing of different scripts. So more to come.
Well, thank you so much. I think we're gonna ask if the audience has questions. Moji, do we have any questions? Olivia, from the audience?
Yes, we do. But before I go into the questions, there are a few things that I wanted to just point out. So Mariette, you were talking about the issues of connecting with other Caribbean countries. The issues that the people in the Caribbean countries have is exactly the same issues that the people on the continent of Africa have. We have the same issues of being colonized by, different people. So we're divided by language. It's very expensive to travel around, for example, West Africa. It's so, some people, if they want to go to Mali, for instance, from Nigeria, they may have to go to France first, which makes absolutely no sense.
No sense. Yeah.
So our issues definitely mirror each other. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the issue of film festivals in the Caribbean. I know, and film distribution. So I know, Mariette, that you know about Caribbean Tales, Francis Anne Solomon's company, where she does the film festival. She also has a platform to showcase Caribbean films. So I wanted to point that out as well. Actually, she was on Cinema for the Culture. We actually brought her to Atlanta, which we'd have loved to have actually brought you guys as well, but because of COVID, we couldn't do that. So I wanted to point that out as well. There's also an animation film festival in the Caribbean, in Trinidad, that's run by Camille.
Yeah, I know her. I met her.
Yes, exactly.
Martinique.
Yes.
Camille.
So I met her in Trinidad. I did a podcast with her. So we are making those connections. So I'm bringing all that up to say that we are making those connections. Part of what we're doing with our platform, the African Film and Arts Foundation, is to create that platform and be inclusive with everybody in the diaspora.
Yeah,
So
but I think it's missing a thread. It's missing something that allows us to talk to each other. Like, let's say, for instance, I don't know if you know the D Word, that platform, of Film Fatale. These are different organizations that connects members with to each other. So I think that we really need that kind of connection to be able to talk to each other, because it all starts with communication, talking, and I don't think we talk to each other.
Okay. So I wanted to bring up those points. All points are valid, and I encourage the audience to ask questions around that if they have any as well. The other thing I wanted to point out was, okay, I think those are the two things I wanted to point out. Going to the questions. So the film was shot beautifully. That's one of the things the first thing that struck me about the film. So Mariette, how did you go about getting, so this is one of the questions, getting the DP for that?
Oh my God. The DP was actually a friend. His name is Rémi Mazet. it was the DP from that Mama Keita, my producer, used on most of his film, and it was really important for us to have a professional film that looks beautiful, and so we invited him from France to come to Guadeloupe to shoot. So we did not use a local person at that time. It was very important for me to connect, to have somebody that I can connect with, I can talk to, that I know, that I trust, and that was not going to step over me, because it was my first feature. So I was a little shy, you know, sometimes. And collaboration with a DP is key, because I really needed to get the shot that I had in my mind and that I was dreaming of for the last 5-6 years. So Rémi Mazet, who is an accomplished cinematographer, was very sensitive to my needs and what I wanted to show and how I wanted to shoot. So we shot we were very, very tight, and we were able to communicate, and he's a very sweet man. So he is, and most of all, the whole crew was very dedicated to the project, because it was the first film that was shot, first of all, by a woman, the first feature film by a woman on the island of Guadeloupe. There was a prior woman who shot a feature film. Her name was Sarah Maldoror. She was the first woman in Guadeloupe to has ever shot a feature film, but she shot it in Africa in 1972.
Oh.
And so everybody was very committed to the project, and it was difficult because the hours were very long, and sometimes I remember the key grip, when he could no longer take it, he will just like pull the light, and he would say, "That's it, that's over."
I remember.
And
it was like 8 p.m. something.
Yeah, when it happened, I was very distressed. But you know, at some point you have to finish. You know, it's over.
Okay. So with you, Stana, one of the questions is: so what was your greatest challenge that you faced in playing this role?
Biggest challenge? Whoa, I don't know exactly, because if I have to choose just one biggest challenge, you know, it's like
various challenges.
Yeah, because as I said before, it was like my first role, so it was already the challenge, because I was so amazed by this opportunity and the movie. So I don't know how to answer that. I don't know if I have the answer. What the biggest challenge? It was all the movie. I don't know if I had to choose a scene, something. Maybe the end. I remember this scene.
No, I know what was your biggest challenge in the film.
Okay.
You refused to do the scene in the bathroom because you had to get undressed.
Yes, of course.
We had to negotiate for hours.
Yeah, I have a naked scene, and the time coming, I was a little bit shy about it. And Remy is super DP. She just put off his
No, you were not gonna say that on camera.
I can't say that, but he encouraged me, and okay.
Well,
I can say maybe this scene.
Well, yeah, because what we did is, I don't know if you remember, at the end, there's a scene when she's taking a shower, and, you know, you don't take a shower dressed.
Yeah.
So what we did to help her was we put several layers of, you know, the plastic curtains, and you only see a silhouette of her.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, that was her biggest challenge, and it was a big crisis because it was the end of the day. And I was like, you have to do the scene. You're going to do the scene. It was tough. So she ended up doing the scene. And I told her, I gave you the script. You know, you knew you were going to have to do that scene. And that scene took place like 2 days before the end of the shoot. So, you know, we had already shot everything. And also maybe it was
my first time.
What?
It was my first time naked in front of people, so I was shy. I needed some, like, you know.
But also the confrontation scene. How did you feel about doing the confrontation scene with your father? You know, because during the whole film, you know, Richard, she never. I don't know if
you're talking about.
You know,
that's what I was talking about before.
Oh yeah.
Before you mentioned the bathroom thing. Yeah. I start to mention this scene because it was this scene for me, because this is the confrontation with my father, the only one, kind of, and it was at the end of the day, and I remember that the sun, everybody was tired, and I was a little bit lost about it. And if I had to answer your question, I would say this scene maybe.
Yeah, because it was the only scene actually when she talked to her dad, because during the whole movie, she sees her dad, she smiles. I mean, she's next to her dad, very, very close, but he never speaks to her, never. That was the only time when they had a conversation, and the dad did not.
Mariette, he didn't know about my identity also, so it wasn't the same thing.
He smelled it, but he didn't really know.
Yeah.
And during the whole confrontation, the dad doesn't look at her. The dad gives her his back.
Okay.
So,
going to the questions from the audience, Celine Marrooks said, "I like your energy, girls."
I like the what? I like the energy. Celine, hi Celine.
Thank you, Celine.
You finally got on.
Yes,
so nice. She's been trying to get on for the last.
Yeah, we apologize, but you know, this is where we find ourselves. We're trying to figure all these things out as we go along. So I do apologize if anybody wasn't able to get on. Our apologies. It's being recorded, so if you missed it live, which I'm sure you'd have preferred, but at least you will have the recorded version. So I have another question here, and it says, Elza is accepted in Paris as a Black girl. She has an education, but faces discrimination by her own father because of her skin and her features. Was this an issue you wanted to raise in the movie?
Well, it's an issue that exists and is very well happening in the West Indies and in many parts of America, because you know, that's what you call the shadism, you know, colorism. When you're light skin, statistics says that you have a better chance in life to go higher than when you're dark skin. So Mr. Desiree is very light skinned. He looks almost like a white person. His nose is all kind of straight. His hair is pulled down and sleek. So he's very much like a white guy, although, you know, although he's not white, but he's very much like a white guy. And he loves having sex with Black women, but his wife is white. But when he takes a mistress, he takes a Black mistress because he likes to, you know, what's the dynamic of that. But I'm sure you heard of whitening the race. Mr. Desiree is somebody that doesn't want any of his daughters to marry a Black guy. Like one of his kids wanted to marry Jean-Luc, who because, you know, and they have a child together. What was the name of the child? I forgot in the film. And actually, Mr. Desiree, you know, broke that family on the basis that he's too dark and too poor to marry his beautiful daughter who has long flowy hair. And so question of color very well exists. In my family, we have different shades, and you know, some members suffer from being darker, but we all suffer in silence. We don't really express those things. You know, we're not going to go and say, hey, you know, I hate you because you're lighter or you're darker. But you know, there's a lot of things that are unspoken. For instance, in my family, my mother, she never talked about my mother. She never talked about my dad. You know, I never asked her because I know it's not something you're supposed to do. So there's a lot of non-dit, a lot of unspoken situation, thoughts, and we live like this, and we're hurt by that. But that's the way it goes. And we need to break that silence. We need to change things. And this is why I made this film, because for me, it's the start of a dialogue. Because until you speak about it loud and clear, we're never going to change. And I wanted, you know, I wanted to say, making that film, that it's okay not to have a father. You're still a person, you're worth it. You know, even though nobody has told you, your father hasn't told you you're beautiful, but you are beautiful, and you need to you know, you need to know that for yourself in order to move on and go on with your life. It's not a death sentence.
Okay, and Stana, I saw.
But it's a real violence not to have a father, because people think of violence as a physical thing, a battered woman, a battered a child. But a child living without a father, without a mom, is total violence, and that should be stopped.
Yes, Stana, any views? I see you were trying to say something around colorism.
Yes.
No.
Si, la couleur de peau, les degrés de couleur de peau aux Antilles.
Oh yeah, this is the same thing in French Guiana. So, but now the thing is changing. So
not that much. Not as much.
But it's from slavery. It's like we have some title for your shade. It's like me. I'm kind of darker than Mariette. So I'm like, but my hair is like curly. So my name will be Cabresse, something like that. Mariette will be like Mulâtresse, because
Chabine.
Yes, but Chabine, it's more, you know, it's your hair, it's different.
Oh, okay.
You can do Chabine, but Chabine is like more black, something. It's like more, and it's awful names, but we all know these names, and we live with those names since we were born. So, but it's not good. I hate that. I hate that, and I said to my friends, stop saying that, and I stopped saying that. So
yeah, I remember that a lot of time, and this is still going on in Guadeloupe. When a child is born, some people can say, alors il est sorti comment? How did he come out? Meaning what? Meaning, is he light skin, darker skin? You know, did he escape his fate by being a little? So there's a whole degrees of
also because we are so mixed that we never know how the child can get out.
That's true.
That's the question for, because we never know. You can be black and your child can be white.
Yeah.
It's happening. My sister is like Mariette, and we are sisters, so it's so different. We never know. That's why the question came from. Where the question came from. It's mixed, so mixed.
It's beautiful at the same time, you know, and we have to praise that. We have to praise that and live with it.
Yes.
It's we have to see it as something positive and as a chance, not as a negative thing.
Always transform something like a power, because it's always a power.
Yes.
Always.
Right, Richard?
Yeah.
So these are the real, I would say, remnants of slavery and colonization that we in the African and Caribbean community, we deal with, and these are real things. But like Mariette said, like Stana said, these are things that we should discuss, we should embrace, and that's the only way change will happen. So I think that's it with Richard. Do you have any questions, follow-ups on what we've just spoken about? What's your take on colorism within the African and Caribbean community? Do you have any thoughts around that?
That's a big question there. My question on colorism. Well, I don't know as much about it, obviously.
Okay.
Lived any of these experiences and whatnot, but we see them here in the United States. You know, we live in Georgia,
Yeah.
And, it's very much been a part of the African diaspora culture, I think, in all over the world. And so I've seen it indirectly now. And yeah, it's always surprising to me how people place so much importance on superficial characteristics of the way one, looks. It seems to still be important to some people.
Yeah.
And, I think it's especially wrenching in that situation where you show there, where the father, just because his daughter has kinky hair, doesn't want to recognize her. No, it's very very brutal, that kind of thing. Almost like when you see these horses that decide whether or not the young horse is strong enough, no, and then at a certain point the mother just says no, and they'll just abandon the baby. And so it's a very powerful, and I think by communicating these kind of things, gives a better understanding of these things.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up, but before we wrap up, starting with you, Mariette, what kind of positive, inspirational words will you leave for the audience and aspiring filmmakers, content creators and creatives generally?
Okay, I would say never let anybody tell you that you cannot do something, because once you've set your mind onto a project, a film project, if you really want to do it, just give it all you got to make it happen, and surround yourself with people who's going to bring you up and not going to tell you you're not going to make it. And also I want to say that I'm really happy that there's so much emphasis now on Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
Because I mean, unfortunately, it takes, the death of some kids, some people to bring us into the spotlight. But I don't want this to be just a phase and just a fashionable moment for us. I think we have to surf. Black filmmakers, and particularly female Black filmmakers, we need to surf the wave, and offer our stories to the studios, to the distributors, the producers. But we have to make sure that our stories are told by us. I'm not saying that other people cannot talk about our community, our story. Anybody can tell stories about everybody, but we want to have the opportunity to tell our version of our story the way we want it. But I think for that to happen, decision makers have to also be people who have the same kind of imaginaire, vision, people who understand our, the different cultures we come from. And we're not just like one kind of Black people. There's so many different kind of Black people. I mean, I have a different history than you, Moji, than Stana. So it's great to embrace all that diversity and to listen, and we'll be able to make films and be happy.
Stana?
Be happy.
Any inspirational
Happy. Sorry?
Any words of inspiration for upcoming creatives?
What can I say? I can say maybe we are here for a reason. Because sometimes we lost about, we ask to ourselves a lot of questions about how, why not me, and so on. So maybe I would say we are here for a reason, and everybody has a process of human being, of life. So don't worry, and continue with your the love of what you're doing, and everything's gonna be okay.
Okay, I like that. That's nice. So we're going to wrap up now. Any final words from anybody before we wrap up? Mariette?
Well, I want to say thank you, for Richard and Moji to organize this get together. The French Consulate of Atlanta, the Institution of the African Film Art. And thank you for inviting me and Stana to express ourselves, because what's missing most of the time, it's a venue to express ourselves. And I'm so happy that I got the opportunity to be on and share my vision with you all. I love you.
Yeah, and there was a lot of behind the scenes things going on, but we managed to get it to this stage.
Absolutely.
And, I thank you as well.
Thank you so much.
Any final words?
Thank you so much for having me from France. So really, really, thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here. Richard, any final words before I say my last wrap up?
Moji and Mariette, Stana, Olivia for this. I think, the one positive thing that's come out of all of this COVID situation is that we've learned how to do these things.
That's true.
Yeah, the Zoom thing. We learned how to do the Zoom thing.
I think
Zoom business.
Afterwards, even when we're in person, maybe if we have your film that's being projected, if we can organize the Zoom conference in the screening room, I think we can build a community, because the challenge, as is money. We don't have $1 million budgets to for films that are talking about cultural issues, even in the United States. When you're doing a real film, as it's the question is money. And so when we talk about these things at the Alliance Française, I can see how Moji and I can organize this in a way that will be compelling, get your voices heard to people that are interested in hearing that in a much better way. So I think it's great that we're doing this, and thank you very much for participating.
Yeah, and I love Atlanta. I love the city of Atlanta. I had such a wonderful time when I was there last time. It was great.
Okay, so wrapping up now, I just want to say thank you so much, Richard. Thank you so much, Stana. Thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you so much, Mariette. Our next In Conversation session will be next month, October 17th, with a crew from a documentary called Out of Nigeria, about 3 broke bikers that rode around the world from Nigeria on their motorbikes on an adventure aimed at putting Nigeria on the map. So you don't want to miss that. Follow us on all social media platforms at African Film Arts, and our website is africanfilmartsfoundation.org. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming again. Thank you to our audience. I'm sorry for those people that couldn't log in, but like I said, it will be recorded, it will be on our YouTube channel, and the link can be found on social media, African Film Arts. So thank you very much. We're going to log off now, and thank you so much.
Take care.
I think Richard wants to say something.
Richard, you want to say something?
The plug, I'd say sign up for French classes at the
sorry.
session begins next week, I believe, in a week.
Yeah.
What's your website, Richard?
It's www.af, as in Alliance Française, ATL, as in Atlanta, www.afatl.com.
And I'll say, my Facebook is mariettemonpierre.com.
Okay, Mariette, tell us how your film is released already. So tell the audience how they can actually get to acquire your film.
Well, my film is, you can see my film at kinonow.com. Kino is my distributor. They have this website where you can watch the film, I think for a fee of $4, or I'm not sure exactly, but very little. Kino, Kino, now.com. Also, it's available, you can buy the DVD on Amazon. Okay. And you can go on my website, mariettemonpierre.com, and purchase a DVD there too. Don't tell my distributor though.
Okay, Stana, how can people reach you?
Oh, my name is Stana Roumillac, so STANA ROUMILLAC. You can find me on Instagram, and I have the link on Instagram for my web series on YouTube. And I'm also on Facebook, but I prefer Instagram, but I'm also on Facebook and everything.
Okay, so you've heard how you can reach all of us. Olivia, thank you very much for helping us behind the scenes. Hope you continue enjoying working with us as an intern. And au revoir. Did I say that right?
Bye-bye, take care.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Marisol.
Right.
Thank you, Stana. Salut.
Okay. Thank you, Stana.
Bisous, Mariette.
Mariette. All right, bye.